On Mondays, we catch up with Doug Thompson from the LSU Sports Radio Network. He joins us now here on OTB. Dougie, good morning, man. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Look, you and T-Bob, you guys are great at what you do, but the ribs makes the show. That's just my opinion. It's just one man's opinion, but the ribs is the best.
Okay,
this is known.
It's popular. It's a pretty popular opinion.
No-brainer.
It's not a hot take. It's not scorching hot, but we'll take it. We'll take it off the leadoff.
It's my opinion, too. I told you. It's just one man's opinion. I don't know what the take is. How you guys doing?
We're all right, Dougie.
I think all right is exactly how.
Yeah, big fella back from Cabo, 72 hours, bachelor party.
Just a bender, straight up bender.
Delayed on the tarmac yesterday.
Made it though. Man. We made it, Doug. You know who else made it? This LSU baseball team. They got the bats going a little bit. How are you taking?
Get the bats.
Okay, chill, Doug. Okay, you're doing too much now. You're getting a little too cocky and excited over there.
Dude, it's Monday, bro. It's Monday, man. I'm just trying to make everybody smile a little bit this morning. The weekend's over.
We won't have it, Doug.
Tigers swept.
Okay, so and then that was well done, by the way. But so how much can you carry forward from this UMass lull? Like, do you think, because I've been saying all morning, I think it's, a confidence builder going into SEC play. Do you agree with that? Do you believe that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, anytime you get a sweep at home, I mean, and obviously it was a good come from behind win yesterday. They had two big homers, and you guys mentioned it to Giacomo. I think he's close to 400 now.
Yeah.
After being, in the mid 150 range, in Houston. So yeah, I mean they've got some offensive momentum, and really that's all you can ask for, right? Going into the season, the game is all about momentum, and offensively there's some momentum going down to Oxford to play maybe the hottest team in the country. They're the only undefeated team left. Well, maybe Florida still is one of two undefeated team left in the SEC, that's really all you can ask for offensively, considering how the season started. This is as good as it's been, and that's the best case. And then as far as the front line goes, on the pitching side, you kind of nailed it. I mean, they were steady. Jaden Hill was, again, Major League All-Star stuff. He's just explosive. It's just amazing. He's given up one hit in, 14 innings, and they're hitting, I think it's .026 against him. Wow. It's incredible. It's off the charts. So let's hope that can go in, because if that guy is a factor in any game in Oxford, there's a chance that the win streak ends for Ole Miss, because he's been just a handful for everyone.
Talking to Doug Thompson here on Off the Bench, 104.5, 100.94.7 ESPN. I'm trying to get the exact number. I looked it up earlier. I thought I had it written down. I believe right now, Doug, that Ole Miss is leading in home runs. I want to say they have 31 on the year thus far. If you're a pitcher, and LSU's pitching staff has been fantastic, right? But if you're a pitcher and you're going against a power hitting team like that, how did you handle that? Did your approach change? What went through your mind?
Well, that was pretty much every time I towed the rubber back in those days.
Yeah,
the bats were so hot. So everybody hit 100 home runs. I mean, it was Tulane had 3 or 4 guys with 20 to 30 jacks each. I mean, it was just it was a different time then. And back then you had to use the corners, and you had to try for the outside, off the plate when you're ahead in the count to get the strike call from the umpire, and all those things. The bats are a little bit different now, and I think these guys just need to. It's such an it's a cliche, trust your stuff. It's easy to say and very difficult to do, especially when you're at a place like Ole Miss, who is very similar to the box. They're going to pack it out. Last time that LSU went to town there, I think they set a record. They're encouraging everyone to do that again. So it's going to be as tough an environment as they'll see all season long. And I think to go up there and come away with a win would be good. To come away with 2 would be something special.
Doug, last week we talked to Chad Durbin and Paul Maneri about approach to the plate. You're a little league coach. When you're teaching approach at the plate, what's the first thing you're looking for, or you're looking to instill into a young hitter?
Well, it's a little bit different in Little League, right? You're just trying to get them, especially when they're behind in the count, and I think that's kind of what you're talking about. When you're behind in the count, you're trying to get Little Leaguers to keep their eyes as still as possible. So you tell them, spread out and look to hit the ball the other way. as you get older, it's more about timing and rhythm and what you're trying to do, right? So you could see this weekend, it was very clear that something had changed in terms of hitting the ball to the opposite field. I lost count of how many guys, especially the young guys, Collier Cranford, Mitchell Sanford, all those guys hit the ball through those holes on the other side because they're expecting the pitches to be away. They're expecting to get the sliders away, and they're staying on it and letting it travel deeper, right? When you grow up, you hear hit the ball out front of the plate, but really that doesn't really work well as you grow older and people start changing speeds and are able to locate their fastball and things of that nature. So I think it's let the ball get deep, trust yourself, and use the whole field, right, and try to drive the ball the other way. And they executed that this weekend.
You brought up Collier Cranford. He had a nice weekend at the plate to go along with Gio. He had 3 hits. Collier had 3 hits yesterday in a 4-hit weekend. What do you see from him defensively, and is that the best option at shortstop right now?
Well, I also saw Zach Arnold come back this weekend, and they're going to take it slow with him. But he was one of those guys that, I think that they kind of thought was going to maybe start at shortstop when he came in. But Collier Cranford has been incredible defensively. I mean, he's not only made the plays right at him, he's made very few mistakes, and he's made some beautiful plays. I mean, some plays moving to his left in the hole, where he's all his momentum is heading into right field, and he's able to throw the ball across his body to first base. I mean, really as a freshman, he has done very well, and he struggled at the plate like most freshmen do their first 15, 20 at bats. But now he's getting comfortable. He's obviously taken on this new approach of hitting the ball the other way, and I'll take Collier Cranford at shortstop at this point in the season. He's been really good.
So, Doug, as you talked about, Ole Miss is going to be wild this weekend. It's going to be packed out, trying to break records. When you're on the mound, or do you have any advice, or did you have a system for dealing with a tough road environment versus being an Alec Box and having all your people behind you?
Well, it's all about controlling the adrenaline and emotion, right? Like, because the more people that are there, the more this. I mean, T-Bob, the more raucous the crowd, the more electric the environment, the more your heart's beating, the more excited you are. So it's all about controlling that emotion and trying not to go out there and blow a gasket in the first inning, right? Because you're seeing stars out there when you're on the mound, because you're 110%, or at least I was. And for me, it was all about controlling that and trying to get into the rhythm of the game and trying to control the tempo. I always was big on controlling the tempo. If I was going well, I was literally throwing the pitch and walking backwards to the rubber, catching it from the catcher, and was standing on the rubber again, waiting for the next signal. If I wasn't, I was going to step off and take my time. And I always try to remember that, even in those environments, right? So I think for every athlete, it's about controlling that and being able to just stay within yourself and play the game.
A longer outing for Jaden Hill again this weekend. I think, did he go 4 innings on Friday night? So what is that where we can expect to see him all year long? That extended relief, like try to just ensure one of these big wins each weekend?
Well, you know what? Right now, the Cole Henry to Jaden Hill handoff is pretty good.
It's fantastic.
That's tough to beat. That's tough to beat. And not only did he come in 4 innings, T-Bob, he faced 12 hitters, and they all went back to the dugout in a row. No walks.
Goodness.
It was just – he doesn't just throw a 95, 96. He can get up to 99 in Houston. But he throws an 83-mile-an-hour curveball that's 12 to 6, and he throws a changeup that's even better than that. It's like a super pitcher. We've never really seen anything like this at LSU. So eventually, if Paul Mainieri has to win a Game 3 in a super regional and Jaden Hill's available, would he roll him out there? I think he would think about it, and I think that's why we're starting to see more extended outings to get him in that position where, if necessary, he could go out there and start a game. But he is so valuable in the back end to either close it for 1 inning or pitch. Obviously, he's shown that he can go 3 or 4 and be just as dominant. Again, he's just a special talent, and I think they're just taking it really slow with him to make sure, they're going to focus on that arm and make sure that he's okay and healthy to pitch. And that's why I think we're seeing slowly but surely more and more more and more time each time he goes out there on the mound to make sure that arm's going to hold up.
Doug, real quick, are you good with the depth on this staff? I mean, everybody knows about the frontline guys.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 3 or 4 good frontline guys, and then the bullpen's full of veterans. I mean, did anybody see the? I know it was a close game, so a lot of people were watching. Did anybody see Devin Fontenot in the 8th and 9th yesterday?
Yeah.
In the 9th inning, I mean, he could start a big league all-star game with that stuff and strike out the side. I mean, he was pounding the mitt with 93, 94 mile-an-hour fastballs, just by guys and on the black. I mean, it was dominant. And Vittmeyer has been out there a bunch, and so is Beck. So, yeah, I think they're extremely deep through 9 or 10 guys, which is special, right? Usually, 6 or 7 guys are really going to be in the mix at the end of the year. But this year they have guys, Wade and Mikhail Hilliard and Eric Walker. I mean, think about it. Eric Walker started a game in Omaha, and Mikhail Hilliard has started and thrown shutouts on the road in the SEC against number 1 ranked teams in the country. I mean, these aren't just guys that have had some innings in relief. This is a special pitching staff and very deep, I would say.
DT9 Tigers on Twitter is where you can find him. Doug Thompson, the LSU Sports Radio Network, with us every week. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next Monday, Doug.
Yeah, have a great week, guys.
There he
Thanks,
is.
Dougie.
Dougie checking in from
Get
the
the
network.
bats.